Welcome in to NBA Now by Chat Sports. On the docket for today's show, going to take all of your questions pertaining to everything that's going down at the NBA level right now. NBA draft, free agency, NBA finals, all of that and much, much more. But first, a reminder for all of you. A lot of you who are watching right now are subscribed to the channel as we have surpassed a milestone here at Chat Sports of 300,000 subscribers. And a big reason why we've been able to grow our subscriber count, we kick it off with our live events, and we're going to be doing that on Thursday, June 23rd for the 2022 NBA Draft. We'll be live breaking down every single selection for both rounds, seeing which players go where, and some of the fascinating storylines that do ensue. So make sure you subscribe and join us if you haven't done so already. You see the link flashing at the bottom of your screen. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv, or simply just hit that red subscribe button. Evan Hinders with this. Bulls sign Kevin Love. Yeah, I don't know about that, and I believe that Kevin Love is under contract, but Kevin Love, I'm going to look it up real quick to look at his contract status. Kevin Love to the Chicago Bulls, I'm not sure about that. I think Chicago is going to be very active in free agency. Kevin Love is under contract for one more year, so the Bulls cannot sign him. It's for a pretty big figure this upcoming year in 2022-2023, $28 million plus in base salary. So Kevin Love is really expensive. The Cavs, Bulls signed Kevin Love. Yeah, Bulls signed Kevin Love. He's currently playing for the Cleveland Cavaliers right now. He is currently under contract with Cleveland for that salary of $28+ million, which is actually in the neighborhood of almost 30. I don't think the Bulls are going to trade for Kevin Love because of that dollar figure, but after next year, maybe he could be a veteran acquisition for Chicago. Tavares, have you made a mock draft yet? Yeah, we've been pushing out mock drafts every single week, and if you're watching us on our live show on NBA Now, we'll be doing another mock draft. Actually, we already did it, but yes, a mock draft has been available and pushed out every single week over the last couple of weeks. Make sure you subscribe and tune in because we're going to continue to give you the best NBA draft coverage. Nick Bruner, he's been tuned into our watch parties. He's back for NBA Now. I've been a LeBron diehard fan since day one. If LeBron passes Kareem and they win some more rings, is it time for everyone to shut up and give Bron the GOAT status? No. I think Michael Jordan is always going to be the GOAT. And I don't think LeBron is going to reach 6 championships. Now, he's going to get close. I think he has an opportunity to win one more. But he's approaching 38 years old, and yeah, he's still at the peak of his powers, which is crazy because he's been in the league since 2003, and somehow he's been able to stay relatively healthy. But I don't think LeBron James is going to unseat Michael Jordan as the GOAT, and I don't think that Kareem is the GOAT. I think it's MJ and then everybody else. LeBron, there was an argument there, and it looked as though he was going to be close, but with the way that Michael Jordan played, his dog nature, him being a cold-blooded assassin, that in part, in addition to the stats and the titles, 6 of them, makes him the best of all time in my opinion. Kev Weezy, who are your top 5 NBA draft prospects in order? Okay, so this is funny because I was going to hit on this, and we've talked about it some over time. Here is my list of the top 5 prospects in the 2022 NBA draft class, and my list is different than a lot of people out there. I have Chet Holmgren all the way down at number 4 because I have serious concerns about how he's going to be able to add weight over time and if he's going to be able to add weight to his frame. He's a little bit too skinny. And don't come at me with, well, if Kevin Durant can flourish and succeed at the NBA level with that body type, can't Chet Holmgren? That's disrespectful. Completely different players, and Kevin Durant is one of the best shot makers that we've ever seen in the history of the NBA, and Chet Holmgren doesn't have the elements of his offensive game that KD has in his toolbox. But my top 5 prospects, it's Jabari Smith. The length, the athleticism, the bounce, the offensive play, 40+% from 3. Love his work ethic, and he can literally score from anywhere on the floor. And I think scoring ability is the number 1 attribute when evaluating draft prospects. Because of that length and that athleticism, he can be a legitimate two-way player. Paolo Banchero reminds me a little bit of Chris Webber. His shooting stroke is somewhat clean, and he has to get a little bit better defensively, but he can do a lot offensively, passing and scoring really like him. Jaden Ivey doesn't necessarily have the athleticism of a Ja Morant, but has the explosiveness and the athleticism to take over games. And then Benedict Mathurin coming in at number 5. I think people are sleeping on him as a guy who could be one of the top 5 prospects in addition to Shaedon Sharpe. I really like him, but those 5 guys right now, my top 5 prospects in this upcoming 2022 NBA draft class. Let me know your top 5 prospects in the draft. Get creative in the comment section right now. Chualor, do you think the Warriors need a rim protector? I do, and I've been saying this for a really long time. Golden State has been bereft of depth in that front court. I love Kevon Looney as a glue guy, but I'm not sure I can rely on him to play impactful 30, 35-minute ball games throughout the course of an NBA Finals run when you're going up against some really good teams at the NBA level. Kevon Looney is great. I want the Warriors to bring him back, but as soon as James Wiseman was dealing with these issues with his knee, I had serious concerns about how the Warriors would hold up. And so far throughout this NBA Finals series, they've really struggled against Robert Williams, Al Horford, the length and size of Boston. And in hindsight, maybe they should have traded away some of the young players for a guy like Miles Turner. And maybe they're going to be in play for a center in the NBA offseason. Nerzar Carr. Where is Shaedon Sharpe in the draft? I have him right on the cusp of being a top 5 guy. The only thing that's holding him back from entering that top 5 equation, he didn't play college ball last year, and he's a monster unknown. He was unranked going from his junior year to his senior year. Then he grows a couple of inches and plays on the EYBL circuit and pops off and displays this innate scoring ability that makes him really special. That reminds me of Jalen Green and Bradley Beal. Pogo sticks for legs. He's a little bit thin, but has every offensive move in his pocket. Step back, sidestep threes. I would consider drafting him in the top 5, and he does have the potential to be a top 5 player and maybe the best player in this draft class as well. Luke Byrne with this. Dallas to make a splash on trade day. I'm looking at Turner. I'm looking at Clint Capella. I think Dallas should and will be in the market for a better big. Dwight Powell, he ain't that guy. Maxi Klieba, I like him as a stretch 4, but I don't want to rely on him, especially defensively, playing a lot of minutes at that 4 and 5 spot. The front court defense for Dallas was problematic all throughout the year. And still, they were one of the best defensive teams in the NBA this year because of some of the adjustments that took place under head coach Jason Kidd, who I thought did a masterful job with some of those adjustments. But on the back end of that defense, at that 3rd level, once you get past the guard and wing spots, because Luka Doncic, his usage rate offensively is so high, and because he's not the best perimeter defensive player or best defensive player in general, you have to have a rim protector. So you mentioned a couple players there, maybe DeAndre Ayton, maybe Rudy Gobert. I think all of those names are on the table for Dallas this upcoming offseason. If you're excited for the 2022 NBA Draft, you see that thumbs up icon? I want you to tickle it. I want you to like it. I want you to smash it because we will be live for the NBA Draft coming up on June 23rd. It will be here before we know it. Myself, Harrison Graham, going to be getting after it, breaking down every single selection, talking about every pick. 58 picks this year because of tampering charges against Miami as well as the Chicago Bulls. So 2 less picks as compared to previous years. Producer Sam Brown will be on the 1s and 2s cooking up those big cam heaters. Make sure you join us and subscribe to the channel. Reen, who do the Clippers draft and possibly sign in free agency? I honestly don't think the Clippers are going to do that much. They don't need to. You get back Kawhi Leonard. Paul George gets healthy. You have Reggie Jackson. You have some really good, intriguing young players on that team. I don't think the Clippers really need to do anything in the draft and in free agency. Maybe get some depth pieces. You re-sign Robert Covington, who's an excellent 3-and-D guy. You still have Norm Powell. The Clippers with a healthy Kawhi and a healthy Paul George, they could be a factor in the West next year. Sam TP4, could the Mavericks trade for Donovan Mitchell? This is something that is loosely being talked about right now just because Luka Doncic needs another star player. I like Jalen Brunson. I think he's going to get paid, and I'd like to see Dallas pay him because he is worthy of a new contract. But can you rely on him to be a number 2 on a championship team? I don't think so. He has limitations to his offensive craft. Donovan Mitchell doesn't. Now, the ball dominance of Donovan Mitchell combined with Luka Doncic and Jalen Brunson would be a little bit problematic. And maybe if you trade for Donovan Mitchell, you don't re-sign Jalen Brunson. Maybe you use him in a sign and trade because he's set to be a free agent and set to secure the bag, and I'm sure Utah would like to get a really good player back for D-Mitch. So I think all of these things are on the table for Dallas, and they should be because you got to capitalize on Luka Doncic getting off to a start in his career. It's very reminiscent of LeBron James. That's not a hyperbolic statement. Take a look at the numbers. They are so close. Next one coming in from Mark Anthony. Is an AD, speaking of Anthony Davis, is a trade of Anthony Davis possible? What's his value in the market? It'd be higher if he wasn't so brittle. A lot of teams would love to have an Anthony Davis. He's a unicorn who's an elite defensive player and is excellent offensively, a rim rocker who can also stretch the floor and put the ball on the floor for a big man. One of the most gifted forwards and centers that we've ever seen in NBA history. The big problem with Anthony Davis, his inability to consistently stay on the floor as he continues to be brittle. That's not just a story with LA throughout this tenure. It was a story with the New Orleans Pelicans as well. So what's his value? I still think you can get some star caliber players back, but it's not what it once was as early as last year or the year before after the championship in the bubble. Dumbo, you're not dumb. Don't disrespect yourself. Do the Celtics need to make any trades or big moves in NBA free agency, or are they set? Look, with the success of this year, I think the Celtics are fine. I mean, back a couple months ago when the Celtics started the year with the pretty big sample size beneath 500, those rumblings of trading away Jaylen Brown to open up opportunities for Jason Tatum were real, but I think Boston is set moving ahead. The re-signing of Robert Williams has been a game changer for Boston as a rim protector. His defensive ability throughout the NBA Finals, straight up superb. Marcus Smart is your future point guard. He's a foxhole guy who you want on a championship team. Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, they are stars in this league. And Tatum, look, young shades of a Kobe Bryant with how he's been playing of late. So the Celtics don't really need to do much. And honestly, are people giving Brad Stevens enough credit? He goes to the front office. He hires Ime Udoka, game changer at head coach. He makes a trade for Al Horford, pivotal to the Celtics' success this year. Re-signs Marcus Smart and Robert Williams, two pivotal components on the Celtics roster. Brad Stevens deserves credit. He was deemed the wonder kid as a coach, didn't live up to those lofty expectations outside of a couple of Eastern Conference Finals appearances. But as an executive, it's been really good. One more question before we get out of here. Rate the Celtics roster from 1 to 30. I'm going to put you to the test in the comment section down below. You let me know where the Celtics stand from 1 to 30 at the NBA level. 30 teams in the NBA, so make sure you get your votes in.